Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have something pretty awesome. We have this pretty cool looking Tesla right here behind me. And if you guys saw our previous video, you may have seen Henry give it a nice deep wash. Upon him finishing washing the vehicle, we pulled it inside the detail garage. We checked it out with our ultra bright inspection LED light, and the paint is absolutely trashed. So today I want to show you guys how to easily remove that and get your paint looking as good as new using our two brand new products, C4 Clear Cut Correction Compound and P4 Precision Paint Perfection Polish. So stay tuned, I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. Alright guys, so before I actually begin working on the vehicle, I want to give you guys a quick little breakdown of everything that I have right here in front of me, just so that you guys can better understand why I have all these products right here. So the first product is going to be our pads. Now, I'm going to be utilizing the orange Hexlogic cutting pad with a white Hexlogic polishing pad in combination with our C4 and P4 product. And I'll break down those in a little bit too. But before I get there, I do want to break down that, we are going to be clay barring the paint. So, whenever you polish or whenever you do anything on your vehicle, you want to make sure that it's completely contaminant free. So we'll be using an OG clay bar paired with some clay luber to remove those embedded contaminants so we get the best results. And then to follow it up, whenever we start polishing, we're going to be using our pad conditioner, which, as you guys know, you want to make sure that you're using pad conditioner on your pads before you start polishing to have the best outcome and to have the smoothest application. And then we have our C4 and P4 polish. Now C4 is our newest compound which cuts consistently, which is going to give us the results that we're looking for. So C4 is a super easy to use consistent compound that's going to remove all those heavy to medium scratches, swirls, and oxidation that's on the paint, along with anything superficial such as lighter scratches, water spots, and stuff like that. So we're going to be using that in combination with our orange Hexlogic pad here. And then we have our P4 Precision Paint Perfection Polish. Now, the reason that we're going to be following it up with P4 and having this two-step combination is because we're going to use the power of C4 to cut through those scratches and swirls fast, and then use the power of P4 to refine the paint so that we have the best clarity and the best shine possible. And then finally, I'm going to wrap it up by wiping it down with some Wipeout. Now, if you guys don't know what Wipeout is a surface cleanser. Now, one of the great things about these products is that they're water-based, so they contain no fillers. So the reason I'm going to be using this at the end of my polishing process is to wipe down the paint so that you guys can see that there are no fillers in the paint, which is giving it the, the appearance of a better looking shine, so that you guys can see the raw paint for what it actually is. And we're also going to be using it to remove any kind of residual polish and compound that's left behind on the surface. And then the last thing here, we have some green workhorse towels, and we also have our TORQ 15DA polisher. Now I'm using the TORQ 15DA because, as you guys can see, the Tesla does have a ton of wide and broad areas, so we want to go ahead and use a wide throw polisher such as the 15 to get the best coverage and the least passes as possible. So now that I've broken all this down, I'm going to move over to the car and then show you guys how to actually work all these products. So we're right here in front of the Tesla, right here on the hood. As you guys see, this thing is massive. So the first thing that we want to start off before we start polishing anything, we want to make sure that the surface is completely contaminant free. So how do we do that, you may ask? Well, we have our clay bar here. Now, right here, I have our OG clay bar. Now, if you guys hear this very carefully, you'll hear that, the contamination, you may not be able to see it on a dark vehicle like this, but on a white vehicle or a lighter color vehicle, you'll start seeing like small little brown yellow specks. So if you guys were wondering what those were, contaminants that are embedded in your paint. In this case, you really won't be able to see it because it's a darker color, but you can hear it. So check this out. So that small little raspy noise that you hear, that's the embedded contamination that's on your paint. Your paint should not sound like that. It should be completely smooth and should not make any noise whenever you hover your hand over it. So the way we're going to be removing it today is going to be using our OG clay bar. I have myself a small little piece right here and some clay luber. You want to make sure that it's always lubricated whenever you're claying, because the last thing that you want to do is mar the paint with your clay bar as you're working on the surface. So in this case, what you want to do is spray your clay luber directly onto the surface. I'm going to move my towel here just so I don't get it wet. Spray the surface, and remember, you want to make sure that you have enough lubrication. So whenever using a clay bar, you want to make sure that the surface is completely lubricated so that your clay bar gently glides from left to right. Don't go in a circular motion. Don't put pressure, just glide it left and right. You don't have to add any pressure to it, and you'll start feeling it a little bit rough whenever you first start doing it. And as you work the clay bar, you'll gradually just get smoother and smoother and smoother. And once it's pretty much gliding all on the surface, you can pretty much move on to another area of the vehicle. So in this case, you know, the hood isn't actually too bad. So, you know, that's a great thing that we don't actually have to spend too much time clay barring the vehicle. So I'm just gonna pretty much wrap up this hood here. I'm gonna clay bar the rest of the hood and be back with you guys once I'm done. Alright guys, so I just finished wiping off the clay lubricant after clay barring the hood here. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to tape down the hood right down the middle so that you guys can see a clear distinction between the side that has not been polished and the side that we are going to be polishing. So I'm just going to be using some masking tape, masking it right down. So give me a second, let me do that real quick and I'll be right back with you guys. So now that the hood is masked off with the 50/50, now it's time to begin. So I'm going to grab my orange Hex Logic cutting pad and I'm going to slap it onto my TORQ 15DA polisher. Now whenever you put your pads onto your polisher, you want to make sure that you do your best to center it so that you have the most consistent cut throughout your vehicle. So now that that's centered nicely, then you're all good to go. Now the next thing that you want to do is grab your compound. So I'm going to grab our C4 clear cut correction compound and I'm going to apply about 5 pea-sized drops to my 5-inch pad. That's usually the rule of thumb, you know, depending on the size of your pad. If you have a 4-inch pad, 4 drops. If you have a 6-inch pad, 6 drops, and so forth. So I'm going to grab my C4 and I'm going to put about 5 drops onto my pad here. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Close that up, set my bottle down. I'm actually going to set it down on the ground just because I know it's going to hit the bottle right here when I'm polishing this area. And then I'm going to grab my pad conditioner. Now with pad conditioner, you don't have to go crazy. All it takes is a light little spritz to condition your pad. So check it out. That's all you need and your pad is now conditioned. So I'm going to set that down and now I can actually begin with the polishing process. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to blot out the product onto the hood. I'm going to work in this little section right here. And then what I'm going to do is turn on my machine to speed setting 1 to work it into this little area. All right, so now that I've worked in the product on speed setting 1, now I can finally work it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn my machine onto speed setting 6, work it until it completely breaks down. You know, whenever you see the product kind of become a little bit more clear, then you'll know that it's time to wipe it off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my machine to speed setting 6 and work the product until it completely breaks down. And one of the great things about our C4 clear cut correction compound is that it utilizes our consistent cut technology. So it cuts and maintains the same cut from point A to point Z. So wherever in this little section that I'm cutting with my C4, I'm going to get a consistent cut throughout the whole thing due to our developed nano abrasives that are in this product, which work out phenomenal whenever you're working on a vehicle like this, because you know, you never know when you need to stop as far as like, you know, the scratches and swirls that you have on your paint. It's great to know that having a compound that has a consistent cut will give you the same result all around your vehicle. So now I'm going to turn on this machine to speed setting 6, work it, and be back with you guys to show you guys the results. Alright guys, so now that we're done with the first pass with the orange pad and C4, now it's time to wipe out the product and check out our results. So I'm just going to grab my microfiber towel, wipe it off, and let's check it out. So now that we're done wiping off the product, I'm going to peel my tape just a little bit from the top over here to show you guys the cool little 50/50 result of just using C4 by itself with an orange Hexologic cutting pad. So as you guys see, the right side, you have a lot better depth, a lot better clarity, and honestly, for a one-step product like C4 with the orange pad, you can see that it does an amazing job on its own. However, like I said, we are gonna follow up with the P4 just to make sure that we refine the paint, make sure we get the best finish possible and the best clarity possible. So check that out, you guys. Huge difference. That's just using C4 with an orange pad and the TORQ 15DA polisher. So incredible results as a one step. And like I said, we are gonna follow it up right now with our P4 as a two-step. All right guys, so now that I have my white Hexologic polishing pad on my machine, I'm gonna now grab my P4 Precision Paint Perfection Polish. Now, after we have hit the paint with the C4, now I'm gonna follow up with the P4 to refine the paint and give it the ultimate clarity. Now, P4 is developed with our ultra fine abrasives, which means that it's gonna refine any kind of micro scratches, marring, swirls, and anything like that on a microscopic level so that you have the ultimate paint finish. So if you're looking for that ultimate shine, then I would highly recommend hitting it with some P4 and a white pad to achieve those results. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna wrap up this paint right here by polishing it with the P4. So with this thing, I'm just gonna apply the same number of drops that I did with the C4. I'm gonna put about 5 pea-sized drops. Set that down. And now I can begin the polishing process, and we're gonna mimic the exact same thing that we did with C4. Blot it out, spread it on speed setting 1, turn it up to speed setting 6, and work it until it's fully broken down. So I'm gonna do that right now, and I'll be back with you guys with the results. All right guys, so now that I'm done polishing, I'm gonna set my machine down real quick, and now I'm gonna grab my workhorse towel and simply buff off the excess of the product. Now check out the amazing shine it delivers. So once you wipe off the product, you'll finally see your final result of what your true paint should be looking like. Now right away, I can tell you guys that this thing looks a lot blacker, it looks a lot more aggressive. You know, the paint just looks a lot more awesome. You know, the depth, the clarity, the sparkle, everything looks way better right now without me even having to remove the tape from the left side that has been unpolished. So that looks great. I'm done wiping off the product here. And now what I'm gonna do is finally remove this tape here and show you guys the final result. So if you come close over here, you'll see the paint is immaculate. You know, the sparkle, it's fully there. You have that 100% clarity. And then we come over to the left over here and you have a ton of scratches, swirls, and you don't have that ultimate clarity that you do have on the right side. So, you know, not only just removing the scratches and swirls on your vehicle, but whenever you do compound it and polish it with C4 and P4, you'll reveal the ultimate shine. All right guys, and that pretty much wraps it up for the Tesla. As you guys saw, just using the right products, C4 and P4, we were able to achieve the amazing results that you guys just saw. So if you guys want to achieve these results on your vehicle, make sure to visit our website right now, chemicalguys.com, to pick up your bottle of C4 and P4 today. And if you have one available near you, then you can also swing by your local detail garage to pick up these products. If you guys like this video, make sure to give us a huge like. Comment down below your rating for the incredible before and after that we got on this Tesla. And as always, my name is Joey. This is Chemical Guys Detail Garage. I'll see you guys next time.